Utah is now the home of a professional rugby team, and players are gearing up for their first season.
Like an 8 or 9 when you're at school, but when you're traveling, I'd say an 11.
Plus, how student athletes deal with their hectic schedules of traveling and homework.
And the Jazz pick up another win in their quest for a good playoff seed.
9-year-olds don't usually have much to offer a high school basketball team. We'll show you how this kid found his place on the bench.
Any reporting to the contrary is inaccurate, false, and defamatory.
Coach Sean Miller responds to the FBI allegations against him.
And the Cougar swim team is homeless while their pool is renovated.
Cosmo and the Cougarettes, Part 2, but this time with special guests. Men's hockey looked to bounce back last night against Slovakia. We'll show you how they did and all the frosty goals.
And Olympic skier Michaela Schifrin looks to strike gold twice. We'll show you her run. The Olympics have officially begun. We'll show you all of the festivities from the opening ceremonies.
And Utah native Nathan Shen showed off his ice skating abilities. We'll show you how he did. March Madness action continued last night. We'll tell you all about the wild and special moments for each team. The holy war between BYU and Utah is heating up. We've got an inside look at how the Deseret Duel affects the rivalry.
And the streak is over. BYU fans are stunned after last night's close loss.
Baseball season is finally upon us. We'll show you which teams are celebrating and all the moonshots.
BYU Gymnastics is swinging into the regional tournament tomorrow in Salt Lake City.
Over the last year, I've kind of set my bar a little higher and higher, and I'm looking to maximize points for the team.
Plus, the BYU track team is looking to run away with victories this season.
Like, I support them, obviously, but I don't know if I can go to BYU if I would care or even know what they are.
And for some sports on campus, achieving national honors doesn't always amount to lots of fans.
I'm Andrew LaRose.
And I'm Kylie Bradley. Get ready for all the hot hits and slam dunks. It's time for YSports.
Kylie, the Jazz have been killing it as of late and are in a crazy battle in the Western Conference.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're in 4th right now, but they could still get knocked out at any time.
Yeah, they could be anywhere at this point. It's crazy. You know what also is crazy is how good the men's volleyball team has been this season.
Yes, they especially had 2 awesome last games. And talking about volleyball, after the men's volleyball team took an unexpected loss to Concordia Irvine, they came back with fire and swept their opponents 2 straight matches in a row. Kill after kill and ace after ace was the story for BYU last night at Pepperdine. The Waves started the first match with a 3-1 lead, then the Y evened out the score with a 5-2 run. The set switched leads a couple times, but ultimately Brendan Sanders sealed the 25-20 win with a pair of kills. The second set was full of action by the Cougs. Ferreira, Sander, and Jarman all had kills, along with aces by Garcia Fernandez and the ace by Fa'alogo that won the set 25-17. Pepperdine tried to save the match in the third set by staying head-to-head with BYU at the beginning, but they couldn't hang. The Cougs washed out the Waves 3-0. This was not only an exciting win against number 4 Pepperdine, but it clinched the MPSF regular season title for BYU. The Cougs play their final regular season game tomorrow at UCLA. Then the conference tournament will begin in Provo on Thursday the 19th, followed by the championship match on April 21st.
BYU gymnasts are scoring higher than they have in years this season. So the girls are putting the gym in gymnastics this week to keep up their momentum heading into regionals tomorrow. With so much talent on the team, they're aiming for a top 2 finish. Although senior Mackenzie Douglas is out for the rest of the season, she will be there every step of the way to cheer her team on.
I've never seen a group of girls really step up before like this, and they did amazing. And this is like a record-breaking season, and I'm excited to see what they do at regionals this weekend.
The many freshmen on the team have given the Cougars a fresh start. The gymnastics team will compete tomorrow afternoon at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake against 5 other teams, including number 4 rival Utah. If they win, they'll compete at nationals. How good is BYU athletics? After a 4-9 football season and no bowl game, along with the first-round loss in the NIT for the basketball team, many fans may think athletics is in a rut.
Many other BYU teams go underlooked. YSports reporter Jeff Brinton tells us more.
Yeah, Andrew and Kylie, a lot of teams don't get noticed. The volleyball team is currently ranked second in the nation. The track team, 24th. Tennis was as high as 38 during the season. And don't forget about gymnastics, top 25 as well. Students and fans, I went to talk to the students and fans to see what their opinions were about the Cougars.
Some fans, the only important sports are football and basketball. BYU fan Kyle Dana, even after a rough football season, prefers basketball and football over other sports.
I've been to the gymnastics meets, and I think I've been to even like one of the women's soccer games and things like that, but mainly football and basketball.
Kyle also gives BYU athletics a pretty good ranking, even after slow seasons from football and basketball.
Medium to high ranking on how well they're actually organized and doing and things like that.
A BYU student, Leslie Howe, has a different stance on the football team and the basketball team.
Like, I support them, obviously, but I don't know if I didn't go to BYU, if I would care or even know what they are.
On the other hand, she is very impressed with the volleyball team.
I know that volleyball is really good, and I always go to volleyball games, and has a great turnout.
A UVU student, but a huge BYU sports fan, Cameron Ellis, would agree with the rest that BYU athletics are not below average.
I feel like overall BYU does a great job in sports programs.
Kyle is impressed with the culture BYU has created.
And I think that experience-wise, yes. Like, I love being a student, going to the games, and I think BYU does a good job fostering like a good, unique athletic culture.
Honestly, I'm very surprised, Kylie and Andrew. I got a lot of answers today that I was unexpected about. Many people talking about the volleyball team and how good they are, mentioning gymnastics and also golf. Some, honestly, I think BYU Cougars, they're doing well overall. Granted, we did have a little bit of a slump with football and basketball, but honestly, great things for the Cougars right now.
Thanks, Jeff. The Utah Jazz continue to storm through the NBA over the last 2 months of the season. Their latest victim, the LA Clippers. The Jazz entered the game in the 4th seed in the Western Conference, and that's how they finished the game. 7 players on Utah scored in double figures, led by Donovan Mitchell, who had 19. Joe Ingles also had himself a game. He extended his leading streak of games with a 3-pointer to 36 straight games. He also made history, becoming the first Jazz player to make 200 3-pointers in a single season. The Jazz will be in action again on Sunday as they face the Los Angeles Lakers. With their solid play and only 3 games left in the regular season, the Utah Jazz have all but solidified a spot in the NBA playoffs. In the past 11 weeks, they are 27-5. They currently sit in the 4th seed, 1 game above both the Spurs and the Thunder.
The Batcats are SportsCenter Top 10 worthy after this phenomenal play that saved the game for the Cougars. Top of the 8th with 1 out, Daniel Schneemann slides to his left and scoops the ball over to Brendan Anderson, who bare-hands it and turns the highlight reel double play. The play capped a stellar performance by Jordan Wood, who allowed 1 unearned run and struck out 5 through 8 innings. Wood got help not only from his infielders, but from his catcher as well, as Noah Hill guns out this would-be base stealer in the top of the 7th. The game came down to this play where the ball gets away from the Broncos' first baseman, and Brock Hale is able to sprint home for the victory. The Cougs walked it off, taking the game 2-1. BYU track and field is back at full speed as the Cougars look to compete for another national championship. YSports reporter Nathan Israelson shows us how the Cougars are using last year's experience for this year's success.
All-American track stars Rory Linkletter and Andrea Stapleton Johnson know that excellence comes one step at a time.
Well, I think the most satisfying thing that I've seen thus far during the outdoor season is the fact that across all event groups and categories, our sprinters, our jumpers, our throwers, our distance people, our middle distance people, we are seeing athletes pursuing excellence. We're seeing athletes nailing down the regional qualifying marks, which is one of the criteria that we use to kind of measure excellence.
I would say experience. Last season, I don't feel like I was as mature and as experienced with the championship style racing and running against, the best in the NCAA and feeling confident that I can keep up and compete.
And so, at the end of that season, I think the biggest thing that I took away from it was I belong here and I can be up with, those top people in the country, which was huge. I've never been there before.
Over the last year I've kind of set my bar a little higher and higher, and I'm looking to maximize points for the team.
With personal goals noted, BYU's team goals are a little bit different than you might expect.
Overall goal is to A, have fun, which you'd think is, kind of strange. But for me, I do best when I'm having fun. And so A, have fun, and B, just focus.
We want, but as an entire team, it's always just get as many people as you can to the national meet to compete for those top 8 spots and score points.
Ready to go. Nice job. Finish it up.
With 3 major meets under their belts, BYU and company look to race past the competition in the coming weeks. Andrew?
Thanks, Nathan. Yeah, I'm excited for track season. I think they're going to do great.
Yeah, it's so cool that one of their goals is to just have fun. You don't hear that very often.
I love that.
And the MLB season is heating up early.
We'll show you all the huge hits and which teams are celebrating.
And one Mariners player got a surprise visit during pregame warm-ups. We'll tell you why it was nothing to squawk at.